Hi and welcome to today. I'm Amanda and I'm taking you on my 31 days of essential tools and supplies. My essential tools and supplies may be different from yours, but today we're going to be playing with. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to today. So today we're going to be talking about jewellery, or looking at some jewellery. And apart from, say, let me think, this particular container, and this, yeah? The rest of them I got at the charity store. Okay, so we're going to go through them. I just love this. Yeah, I really love, I said love collecting. My husband would call it hoarding, but I don't hoard because everything has a purpose. And don't you find that the very time you throw some stuff out because, you know, people are saying, oh, why are you keeping this? Why are you keeping that? That you need it, you find that you need it, you're doing a project and you think, where's that thing? Oh, yeah, I gave it away. Now, I would call myself a collector. I don't just hoard like bits of paper and, you know, plastic wrappings. I buy things that, or collect things that I'm going to utilise in a project. So I see something and I think, oh, that would be lovely in a project. The other thing that I do is that with the, I told you about the bags of beads in the beads video. So this, so in the beads video, and so they would do the same thing. The charity store, going to the charity store, they would have bags, just like a bag like this, or a bag like this size, yeah. So, and it would be full of stuff, just a plastic bag, random plastic bag full of stuff, and I would get so excited because I found so many lovely pieces of jewellery in it, inside of it. And I want to really give these pieces justice, and I'm gonna show you, Now, just as a side, who else says gonna? I'm gonna show you. My son says gonna. What's gonna? But I'm sure I'm not the only person that says it, so please do comment below if you say gonna as well. I'm gonna go to the supermarket, or I'm gonna go and get some. You know, yeah, you can say going to, but anyway, so let's get on. So picture this. I would, it happened over the summer when I was looking after my mum, who's got dementia, and before she would come in, I would walk down to the charity store, and I would just generally walk. So, you know, one day I went into the charity store and I was looking around, not wanting to buy anything specific, but just looking around, and sometimes they would have fabric pieces, fabric that I could use in a project, or they would have wool. I don't know whether I got any of the wool here that, maybe I'll do a video on that and show you some of the wool that I brought and some of the... Anyway, let's not digress. But, so fabric, and then I picked up this bag and I thought, oh, that's jewellery. You know, I'll buy it. And so brought it home. And in that first bag I found, let's say for instance, I think I found... I don't know what bags because I brought so many bags over time, but I would find pieces like this, and when I saw them, I'm going to come forward so that you can see. Put it the other way. Put it like there, bam, and then we're going to put the pieces on there because I really want you to see. So go into your charity store, you will find, if they do the bags, then it's definitely worthwhile getting them, because if you're doing mixed media or doing any you know, any kind of project that you might want to add jewellery, or if you're thinking of recycling the jewellery, like you can, you know, you can find some really nice jewellery and buy your own findings. You don't, you know, I wouldn't stick something that's been in somebody else's ear in my own ear, but I would repurpose the jewellery. Or what I found I was doing was I was creating some art figures, and I was putting jewellery on them. And if you break down the jewellery, like take it apart, you will find some really nice pieces. So in some of them you would find like what other people has done, like, you know, the jewellery's broke, like you've got a pair of earrings here. There's nothing, let's just come in really close so that you can see. These earrings, actually I think that's too close. Is that too close? Yeah. Okay, let's just get these out of the way. So these earrings, is there anything missing? Yeah, so you got some beads missing along here, and then you've got, I think actually it had all its pieces, and I've used it in one of my figures. But you would find, like, you know, we've got this one here. I can't see any bits in that are missing, and that's such a pretty earring. So what I would do is either utilize it in a mixed media piece, or just change this, because this bit can come off, this top bit, and alter it in some way and make it into something different, you know, like a new earring, or you could make a necklace or something like that. And then there were pieces like this that there are missing bits, but what I would do is take out the jewellery bit, the glass bit, and apply that to sort of like some of the clay figures, or if I was making a journal, kind of, you know, glue it on. A lot of these bits, the back is not flat, it's kind of a curved shape, so there are particular things that you can, you know, create on. Things like this was attached to, it's only got one bead missing just here that you would hardly notice, and so what I did was put a chain on it. Oh, okay, so that just needs to be reattached. Actually, do you know what? I think they came separately. That's it, they did come separately. Because whoever had this at the back, there was this was attached to something, and it must have broken off, because there's a bit that's just like a bit of metal. So all I did was add a finding and then attach this to it, but I obviously didn't attach it well enough, so I can just, you know, fix that. And then let me show you some of the other things. So I would find a lot of these kind of, you know, really fancy earrings and ear cuffs. I think I know where the other one to this is. It's in my bead box. So look at that, isn't it fancy? And again, all of the beads are in this one. So I might use that on a journal, or it'd probably go on a journal. And where I could salvage any beading, I would use it in one of my figures, because I like putting jewelry. I like putting jewelry on my figures. Oh, and there was yeah. So lots of these little things that, you know, I think the person just, even pretty things. I love these ones. and I would go back and see if there was like more than like the bag that had the other part in. But like for things like this, for things like that, I ever found like the there were some that I thought were really pretty, and I would definitely just change the finding, put a new finding there and leave it as an earring. But not all of them I found the other part. And then again, there was some larger pieces of jewellery that I was finding. Let's have a look. You've seen that? Rings. These are so pretty. Isn't that pretty? Very pretty. I found, this is nice, isn't it? Some bits of silver. I don't know whether this is silver or not. It hasn't got, I can't see a mark, but then other things which, again, as I said, I would use these in my mixed media work and attach them to projects. If you break it down, once you've broken it down, so this was an odd type of ring, but these circular bits is what interests me. You know, all these shiny little things, like a little magpie. I think I was. It was just like, oh, when I opened the bag, it was just like, oh my gosh, look at that. Oh gosh, that's so pretty. Have I got any favourites? Yeah, I got loads of favourites. Look at that. That's so pretty. So this was like on a necklace, and I wanted to repurpose it. Okay, let me put some of these things away. Okay, in there. So this is another activity, going through and sorting. So I did that. That was a really fun activity where I would just, you know, take everything and put it, try and sort it in some way. So I've got to remember the other bit for that. And think about some of the projects that I would use them on. I mean, this is a somebody's. It doesn't. I can't see anything on it like, oh gosh, somebody was using it. But again, I would take them apart. Like, you know, over time the metal becomes. Sometimes the metal can become brittle. So if you're, you know, using it in a kind of assemblage piece, you know, it's quite okay. That bit came off, or yeah, see, that's just where it was soldered together. So I would utilize this. You know, you've got two bits there. There's two beads missing, so you can either fill it in with maybe another one that you found that's kind of quite close, or I would maybe just take it off here and then, you know, do something with the end. So there's, and then with these, they look like combs, but they're attached to the metal. So basically you could just take them apart from the metal. If you cut this end, and that's where all my jewellery tools come, if you cut this end, then these should technically, oh, it's one piece, so it wraps round. So they've soldered this end, they've soldered one end, or both ends really, and then they've wrapped it round. So you could just, well, what I would do is cut it and then utilise it in a different project. I want to show you some others quickly. Don't want to take up too much of your time. Oh, look at these. These are fantastic. I used these. This was a necklace, but there were bits missing. So I used the the ones that weren't missing, like I would utilize this and just cut this off and then use it in a project. Let's see. Again, some unusual looking pieces that I just thought, oh, that would be a really nice, you know, on a journal. So things that they're really pretty, they look really pretty, they're fine, they're not, you know. This was a necklace. There's nothing wrong with them, but people have just thrown them out, you know, they've just given them to the charity store. So there was these kind of things, there was silver things and there was gold things. And I really like, I guess these things are kind of my favourite, these kind of pieces that, you know, you thought they would be really pretty on a project. But if you thought about going out and buying that particular thing, I've created necklaces, a necklace out of these. There were several of these. Yeah, so I don't really want to. I love these ones. See, these were all a necklace, and I had some wooden necklaces as well. Let me just come out a bit there. Some wooden necklaces that I made. This was one necklace, and I separated it and made some earrings and a necklace. And some of the wooden beads were just so pretty, and the shapes were nice. Yeah, so these were all really pretty. Anyway, so the other thing that I did was jewellery that I used to have. So I used to only wear silver, and there was a shop near where I used to work, and where's my silver? There. But they had some really beautiful earrings, and I was in there all the time. And over the years, I just brought some. I really loved the earrings that I brought, but for whatever reason, so this is a pair, but the back broke off. I mean, we're going, you know, I had them for a couple of years, so it's not something that I could have taken back. Or I would lose the amount of earrings that I was just like, I would buy them. I loved them, but then I would lose one. And it was just like craziness. So these were some of my favourite silver jewellery back in the day. And again, if you've got any broken jewellery, so basically what I'm saying is if you've got any broken jewellery or, you know, missing pieces, putting them in creative projects is a great way to utilise them, especially like, you know, some of these, like, you know, I had to save up to get them, and then, you know, to lose them over the years, it was just like, oh man, really? And the silver was nice because look, these are at least, let me think, 20 odd years old. These are over 25 years old, and I've not cleaned them or anything. And you know, the silver was very, I don't know, it's not well made. It was a well made piece of jewellery, and it was quality silver, I guess that's what you would say, because it's not tarnished, it's not, you know. So again, looking at making some necklaces out of these individual pieces, because they're too pretty to, I mean, you wouldn't dash that, would you? I mean, some people would, but that's where I see that everything has got a chance for a second life. So I'm going to leave it there, because I could spend all day just kind of, oh, and look at this, and oh, I got these, and oh my gosh, isn't that pretty? So that was an earring, but that wasn't mine. So yeah, I would use this in a either necklace project or, you know, something. But yeah, let me see if there's anything else that I really, really want to show you. Oh, let me show you this. This was from a belt. I actually brought this, but I brought it at this, it's one of these stores that sells things quite cheap. And I saw this and I brought several of them and I used them in projects. I just separated them. They were all connected, like about 20 butterflies connected, and I would use these in projects. The only thing now about being in a warm climate is that it becomes very brittle. So I guess if I've got some clay projects that I'm doing and you can embed this in, that's probably what I'd use them for. But that's what I found with some of the things, you know, depending on the temperature and the climate, they have not lasted very well. Okay, so I'm going to definitely leave it there for now. So I hope that you can maybe look at any broken jewellery that you may have in your stash supply in a different way, because, you know, all of us, well, most of us, I think most people wear jewellery of some kind, so it's not that you're having to go out and buy, you know, anything additional, but it's just looking at their uses and how they can be used in a different way, rather than, and as a resource, something that can work for you. So yeah, just, you know, experiment and play, because that's what I think is the most that I would want you to take away, to experiment and play and see what you can do with the things that you either find at your local store or you have in your supply. So it's definitely well worth, you know, looking. Even these like kind of feather type things, these were earrings, but even the smallest bit on here, like this has got this very fine thread of metal, but that can be used in a creative project and make it look really nice. So yeah, I'm leaving it there. I keep saying I'm going to leave it there, and then oh, look at that, look at this. But look at this, it's an earring, a ring. I don't know why it's just so uncomfortable. So it's got a few pieces missing, but again, I would utilise these and put them into clay. Yeah, that's what I would do. So you need all the jewellery tools to do all of that kind of stuff. But again, you know, don't just go to your craft store, go to your hardware store as well, because they often sell things that has the same, you know, they sell pliers, they sell smaller, thinner pliers, maybe not jewellery pliers, but they've got thinner ones and smaller ones, and so, you know, try there as well and compare. So I'm not encouraging you to go out and spend loads of money on things that you're not, you know, you're not going to use and you're going to put down. What I want you to do is look at the supplies that you have and think about how you can utilise them in a different way. Look at them and think about how, when you've got a small amount of time, how you can do something with them creatively. And look, these are corroding. You can see that. Again, it's the climate. Sorry. To digress. Anyway, yeah, so how you can look at them and think about things that you can do with the supplies that you have and give yourself that creative boost, even if you only have 5 minutes. Because in 5 minutes, I would like look through some stuff, look through some of these pieces and think, oh, that would make actually a nice project, you know, or that actually, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, oh, the red, you know, I can maybe add something to something I've already got, you know, or maybe change the beading on something. So, or create a fabric journal that I can work with. Or like with the fabric journals I have, you can add, you know, you can stitch, you can paint, you can add embellishments, whatever. So find things that you can you know, utilise them and just work through them. You know, you don't have to try and do everything in that one moment, but just pick up one thing and say, how can I spark my creativity and do something with something like this. All right, so I'm not going to touch them again, except to put them away. But as you can see, even that, you know, even just the sorting and the what I'm thinking, what I'm remembering is how I felt when I opened some of these bags and saw some of the jewellery, and thought, oh wow, you know, that's so pretty. But again, the whole process was really something that I found interesting. From going to the store, finding the bag, bringing the bag home, I'd wash everything first, lay it out on a tea cloth, let them dry, and then I would sort through and decide, okay, do I really want this? No, I'm going to send that back to the charity store, you know, put a little bag together of things that I wanted to just take back to the charity store, or ones that I would use. Didn't keep everything. So I will see you tomorrow, and I hope that you found this of use. Please do subscribe if you're new to the channel, and stay blessed and be a blessing. All right, bye for now.